Coach, welcome to the greatest offensive coordinator training and play calling system that's ever been produced in the history of college football. So take a few minutes, grab a Gatorade, get a notepad, because in the next few minutes your life and your coaching career is about to change forever. Over these next few minutes you're going to see some historic moments in football that radically change the way that football is played today. You'll see one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time in Jared Goff, but you're also going to see a lot of players that you've never heard of that had just as much success, took their teams to as many victories as Jared Goff was able to do at Cal. So grab a seat, grab a Gatorade, and let's go. It's going to be very important over the next few minutes as you watch this, is that you don't completely trust me, that you don't rely on me. We want you to do your research. We want you to listen to the experts. Listen to people like the Wall Street Journal, who have said that some of these methods have been created by one of the most innovative minds in football. Football Scoop said at one time that I was the mastermind behind one of the most consistent and explosive offenses in the country when I was at Louisiana Tech. However, when I put this seminar together, my goal was to find 6 guys that were more impressive, that had done more than I had, and what happened is that OC Magic came together and we put together what we believe is the best product ever put together to teach you offensive football. So it's really important that you understand this. What we want to do is teach you how to win more games, score more points. We'd like for you to walk away from here to where you've got a method that you can triple your income, or like some of my coaches have, you could multiply it times 100. You could buy a better house for you and for your family. You could have more money for your children, for their education, to help them when they get out in life and they're struggling at times. You want to help your coaching staff to get better jobs. And more importantly, you don't want to get fired and have to move in the middle of the season. So if you go through this, you have a chance to actually become legendary. So take a few minutes and come join us. We're going to give you something that could change your life and your fellow coach's life, and more importantly, your players, and most importantly, change your family's lives forever.
With the first pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Los Angeles Rams select Jared Goff, quarterback, California.
So if you look real close in the background, you'll see a guy back there that doesn't seem like he's quite dressed for the place. The guy in the white jacket. That's me. Still a high school coach from the state of Kentucky. 16 years coaching high school football in the state of Kentucky. But once I learned how to implement what we now teach in this system, I was able to be successful enough to get a job to where I was able to coach a talent like Jared Goff for 3 years and be there on the NFL draft as the #1 pick was called out, and this little old coach from Kentucky standing in the background and helping a young man and his family to achieve their dreams, as well as me achieving some of mine. So if you've got a problem right now and you're not scoring enough points and you want to have an opportunity to lead your state, or maybe even to lead the nation in scoring so that you can win more games, just look at some of the history that has happened with some of the people that have been involved in this. We took Troy from 113th in the nation to 16th in just a matter of a couple of seasons. We took Middle Tennessee from 84th to 23rd in one season. We took Louisiana Tech from 46th to #1 in the nation, and what some people have called the second best offense in the history of college football in just a couple of seasons. We took Cal from 90th in the nation to 10th in the nation. And we took Middle Tennessee again from 35th in the nation to 12th in the nation. And then we've had many of our clients who have led the nation, led their state in scoring and offense production in their states. Sometimes I realize you're going to be at a place where you don't have good enough players to be able to be productive. And you know what your job is when you don't have players that are good enough? Your job is to recruit. You don't have success to walk in the hallways and to grab players. This is where we come in handy. Use our success in order to recruit your hallways. Learn how to recruit with fun, and then take a history of success of our high school clients, our college clients, and even the success today of our players who have gone on to play and become some of the greatest players in the history of college football and eventually in the NFL. So the one thing I would be thinking if I was sitting in your chair is that what style of offense is this system going to include? Well, that's the great thing. We have done this in every type of offense that you can imagine with every type of talent. You've already seen Jared Goff. You've already seen him become the #1 pick in the draft and lead a team to the Super Bowl in his 3rd year in the NFL. But obviously, there's not that many of you going to have Jared Goff. I've been coaching 39 years, and I've coached one player of that caliber to be the first pick in the draft and to go on to have a great NFL career. But what if you've got players that are 5'9" quarterbacks or 5'11" quarterbacks, quarterbacks that can run, quarterbacks that can't run? What if you've got a 5'7" running back that's really fast but not big enough to pick up the blitz or to make power runs? What are you going to do then? Well, we've got the answers to all these, as you can tell in these next few clips of what this offense is capable of doing with every style of quarterback, running back, and every style of offensive lineman. And I know what some of the problems are, guys. I was a high school coach for 16 years. You've got low attendance. You've got a lack of funds. So when you get ready to purchase something and you're going to invest in your future, you got to try to figure it out. How am I going to get money? Well, the first thing is that when you got an exciting brand of football, you can draw fans. If you draw more fans, guess what? Fans put out more money. You draw more money at the gate. And the biggest thing is when you get ready to try to raise money is that go to your boosters, show them this video, show the #1 pick in the draft, show the different types of talent, show all the players that have gone to college, and then your boosters will invest in buying a winning product. If it helps their community, it's definitely going to help them and to make them get excited to write you checks. And remember, guys, some of you haven't had enough success yet in order to be able to go out and to sell this. That's why you're using us. Remember, take your people, walk them through this step by step. Use the Wall Street Journal, use ESPN, use CBS Sports, use Forbes magazine, use Sports Illustrated, use the Washington Post. Or, you know what? Just flip on this little clip from Tom Brady and Jared Goff at the Super Bowl and tell them that this is what Jared Goff was able to use in order to make his dreams come true, and this is what you want to use to help make your dreams come true.
And Brady is looking for his 6th ring. He came face-to-face with the Rams quarterback Jared Goff, who was in elementary school when Brady won his first Super Bowl.
One of the most important things I've learned in coaching is that I'm not always going to be the best coach on the field. I'm going to get out-coached by a defensive coordinator. But what I've been able to do, because to be honest with you guys, I was a 16-year high school football coach. Had some success as an assistant coach, very little limited success as a head football coach. But what I learned when I got into college and what I was finally able to do was to go out and to draw expertise from the best and the most successful people in this business. So if you're getting out coached, don't just count on me. Use your experts. Use our experts. Use our game plans. You're struggling with a 2-minute offense? Use our 2-minute offense. Take Jake Spavital or Rob Likens or Jason Mons or Kirk Martin as they drive down the field in a 2-minute offense. Use our training methods to train your players individually, every single position. Learn from our success, but also learn from our failures. Because when we teach, we try to teach both from our success, but also from our failures. And use our success to cut 20 to 30 to 40 years off of a learning curve that it would take most people that you're going to be able to learn in a short period of time by using our examples. So guys, when we put this together, I called it the Magnificent Seven. 7 brilliant, successful, top offensive minds from college and high school football that coach quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, and offensive line. Put these guys together, come up with more than 20 hours specifically into being a great coordinator and also to being a great play caller on game day. Let's start with one of the hottest coaches in all of football right now, Jake Spavital. Jake has been an offensive coordinator at West Virginia, at Cal. He's been a quarterback coach at Texas A&M, which, by the way, he coached the Heisman Trophy winner, Johnny Manziel. He's had top 10 offenses throughout, and when you have that type of success that Jake has had, where he started off as a graduate assistant, and he worked for the most impressive Dana Holgorsen for so many years, learned everything he could, went out on his own, and like most guys, is that when you go out on your own, you've got a chance to prove yourself, and he did more than that. Now he got rewarded by being the head coach at Texas State University. Or how about Herb Hand, one of the most successful offensive line coaches and offensive coordinators and co-offensive coordinators in the history of college football. Herb has spoken for me on numerous occasions, and to this day, he's probably the most popular person that I bring in. Whenever I can get Herb in front of people, it's really good for our business, and it's really good for the game of football. Herb has been a part of offenses consistently that have been in the top 10. He's done everything from old school shotgun wing tee offenses that he ran with Gus Malzahn to get in power football with James Franklin and pro NFL spread sets, and now to be at the University of Texas. Herb brings a brand of game planning which specifically includes how do you work your offensive line to get ready for a game. And one of my favorite human beings in the world, Rob Likens. You want to hear somebody with enthusiasm and passion about football? Rob has been a coach on national championship teams as a Division II coach, running the triple option when he was at North Alabama. Rob joined us at Louisiana Tech, helped me become a much better football coach. So he was part of top 10 offenses and the #1 offense in the country. Rob is now as the offensive coordinator at Arizona State. When I listened to this presentation from Rob, I took about 10 pages of notes, and the one thing that I learned in this presentation was I got some ideas for a 4-minute offense now that are going to blow your mind that Rob presented to all of us. I got really lucky when I was at University of California. On the final season that I was there, I lost an offensive line coach. I always tell my coaches when they get another job, the thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go out and hire somebody that's better than them. And I was able to go hire Brandon Jones. Brandon Jones, his background was spending time playing in this style of offense as a starting center at Texas Tech University. But the other thing that Brandon was able to do was to hook up with Lincoln Riley. And so while they were at Eastern Carolina, they set all kinds of records at Eastern Carolina. I was able to get Brandon to leave East Carolina and to come to Cal to be our offensive line coach. And in Jared Goff's unbelievable season that he had, which propelled him to be the #1 pick in the draft, part of that success came from Brandon Jones. Brandon now also worked with Jake Spavital the year after I left, and Brandon now is at the University of Houston with Dana Holgorsen. And Brandon brings a unique perspective on how offensive linemen game plan and get ready for a season. When I began my business many years ago, one of the first clients that I had was a coach named Kirk Martin at a program in Manville, Texas. Kirk Martin took a program from its beginning and made it into a powerhouse in the state of Texas. After many seasons of averaging more than 40 points a game and being named Texas Coach of the Year in one of the most productive states for football in the United States of America, Kirk was rewarded by becoming the quarterback coach at Syracuse. And in their first year with coaching quarterbacks, Syracuse University set offensive records and broke records that had been held for more than 20 years. And I have to admit, the person that steals the show from this entire coordinator perspective was a high school football coach in Arizona named Jason Mons. I got to know Jason when I was recruiting his quarterback when I was at Cal. I was very impressed with what he was doing. Jason took over a program that was already really good and won 6 straight state championships, led the nation, led the state in scoring. Jason is somebody who is headed for stardom. There will be a time somewhere in the future to where Jason Mons is a head college coach, and he put on one of the most impressive productions that I've ever had at any of my seminar experiences. And finally, we come to me, Tony Franklin. Okay, offensive coordinator, Middle Tennessee State University, former offensive coordinator at Cal, at Auburn, at the University of Kentucky, at Louisiana Tech University. But the thing I'm most proud of was my 16 years as a high school football coach. Even though I, as a head coach, didn't have a tremendous amount of success, I did learn. I was smart enough to end up at Mayfield, Kentucky in 1993 through 95, where we won 2 state championships in the 3 seasons that I was there. I've been able, as a college football coach, to move from school to school and to produce top 25 offenses and top 10 offenses, even having the #1 offense in college football in 2012, and what some people have said is the second best offense in the history of college football. But the thing I'm most proud of is putting together a creative and innovative system to teach high school and college coaches to be the best that they can be. And guys, just so you know, that picture that you see right there, that's me. That's right after I got fired. I'm carrying out all my stuff. It took me about an hour and a half or 2 hours as I carry everything out of my office. I'm followed by reporters and they're snapping, taking pictures. You don't want to end up like I did at Auburn. You don't want to go into something that probably isn't going to work and then end up making it a disastrous situation. When you get fired, if you don't get this fixed, if you don't get your offense fixed, if you don't get your coaching future fixed, then this is what happens to us. We get fired in this business. Or you get demoted. You lose your title. Worse than that, you lose your job, you lose money. Sometimes your wife, the stress hits you, she leaves you. And worse than that, there's nothing like your kids going to school and getting bullied because you didn't win a football game. So if you want to prevent stress, prevent a heart attack, getting fat like I did when I was at Auburn and at Troy, can't pay your bills, don't want to lose your home, you don't want to move, you better sign up for this system. And you know what? The only thing that you need most of the time is this: 100+ years of expertise at being the best, cutting edge technology that we provide, answers by email or text or by phone call. The #1 high schools and the #1 offense that's been produced in high school, the #1 offense is produced in college and even in arena football. A paint-by-numbers solution to every problem that you can imagine. And again, remember, we got all the answers. If you don't believe it, just look at this clip. The one thing about this offense, you can be Colby Cameron and set a record, NCAA record that I don't believe will ever be broken. 444 balls in a row without an interception. Being able to take Texas A&M down to the wire in a 59-57 shootout. Colby Cameron did this with what we teach you in this offense. But let's say that you just want to hand the ball off in a big set and run power football. Kenneth Dixon, in the same year that Colby threw 444 in a row, broke Marshall Faulk's record for most touchdowns as a freshman in the history of college football. How about that? 2 guys, same season, one throwing it, one running it, this offense. So let's get to the nut and bolts of this. You want the best and most complete solution to coaching magic as a coach, a husband, and a father. Over 24 hours of offensive coordinator and game planning training. You want the 6 sections of offensive football broken down into runs and RPOs, play action passes, moving the pocket with nakeds, rolls, and boots, screens, drop back passing game, and finally the gimmicks, whether it be a slant stutter, fake a screen stutter, or a trick play. And how about this? You get 7 nationally recognized coaches, some of the best of all time, that are going to give some of their best plays and their best ideas from each one of these sections, as well as helping you to be a game day play caller. 7 national experts give their secrets on how to call an opening script, how to write their opening script. They're going to give you some of their sample scripts from games that they've already played. They're going to give examples of planning and results from that plan, as well as game day preparation. You're also going to get opponent breakdowns and tendencies and how to find them. Practice planning year-round and weekly schedules. Preparation schedule deadlines. What has to be done by Monday, etc. How to break down your opponent's film. Not get suckered into false tendencies. Finding matchups for opportunities and issues. Adapting your offensive scheme to fit your talent. Formation studies and designs weekly to gain an edge and to get what you want coverage-wise and front-wise. How about if you got down and distance scripting, game planning versus a team where you got no chance to win a game and then all of a sudden you do because of this secret that you get. Play calling, scripting, and call by feel. What's the advantage of scripting everything? What's the advantage of just getting a rhythm and getting the feel? How about if you learn how to call players instead of calling plays and scheme plays? How about how to script on the goal line? You ever want some advice on 2-point plays? You're backed up on the goal line. My favorite place in football to be. Find out why I like it when we've got 109 yards that the defense has to cover. Big play scripting. How do you script a big play? How do you call a touchdown? Do you have any systems for coverage beaters? How about a man cover plan that every day that you can go out and practice and become the best rub coach in all of football? What are you going to do when they bring cover zero? Let me tell you something. If you don't have a plan for cover zero, you're going to be embarrassed. How about offensive line coaches and what do they do differently to help you to get ready for your game day samples and adjustments? What to ask your players after every series when they come off the field and you get a chance to talk to them? What are the questions you want to ask them? How do you use your timeouts? What is your plan in 4-minute offense? Do you have something specific that you do? Do you practice 4-minute offense? How do you substitute on game day? Why and when? How do you learn how to win games instead of just winning stats? Don't become that coach that's more worried about stats and winning games. How do you adjust to injuries? You want to learn to adjust to injuries before they occur. You don't want to learn after they occur. You want to have a plan before they occur. What are the tempos? You got a super fast tempo, a muddle huddle tempo, a cadence mix tempo, a check with me tempo, a freeze tempo. Do you have a plan for a backup quarterback? The most yards and the most points in the history of Middle Tennessee football came when we lost 2 quarterbacks and had to play 2 wide receivers, and we were able to have over 700 yards of offense and score more than 70 points. Do you have an emergency quarterback plan? And now, most of all, guys, this is the most important thing. Do this now. This is a simple solution. If you want the most massive and magical success possible, if you want more money, if you want a better job, if you want advancement and recognition, go to TonyFranklinFootball.com/OC Magic. Become a client today. Start OC Magic immediately. Within 1 hour, you're going to start to change your football, your coaching, and your personal and professional life. Remember this, guys. Be the next Neil Brown, the head coach at West Virginia. I hired Neil when he was 25 years old. He made around $30,000 a year. He just signed a contract for over $3 million a year. Be the next Chad Scott. Chad Scott had a total of 0 experience as a football coach. He slept in the video offices at North Carolina. He slept in his car when he was working for the University of North Carolina. Today he's making over $400,000 a year as the co-OC at West Virginia. Be the next Matt Moore, a high school football coach that was a client of mine who I hired as my first O-line coach at Troy University that now makes over $500,000 a year. Be the next Chip Lindsey, a former small school Alabama high school client of mine who now is the head coach at Troy making almost $1 million a year. Be the next Kirk Martin, as we talked about, a former client of mine that's now the Syracuse quarterback coach. Be the next Brian Hamilton, who was the assistant O-line coach at Cal and now is the O-line coach at Murray State and the assistant head football coach. Or be the next Jason Mons and be the best football coach maybe in all of the country right now that's won 6 straight state championships. And remember, I'm not asking you to believe us. I'm asking you to believe people who have studied and researched and tried to find ways to say this stuff isn't going to work. Read the Wall Street Journal articles, read Football Scoop, read ESPN, read CBS, NPR, Forbes, and the Washington Post. Go to TonyFranklinFootball.com and go to our testimonials and read the hundreds of testimonials from clients and former clients and what they say about what they get from the information that we give these guys. And never forget, Don't be this guy. That was me. That was me. Not learning my lessons, not doing a good enough job, getting fired in the middle of the season at a 5-2 record, which is hard to do, but I was able to do it. Don't be that guy. Be this guy. Be Neal Brown. Study harder than I did. Learn more than I did. Be a student of what we teach. And then go from being that 25-year-old assistant coach making $30,000 a year to being the head coach at Troy, going on the road to LSU at Tiger Stadium, the hardest place in the world to win, and winning a big enough game that everybody comes after you and wants to offer you a head coaching job. Be him. Be the next one to sign that 6-year contract for $19 million. And by the way, just remember this. This is probably the most important thing. How would you like to get all this information for free? Well, I know what you're saying, nothing's free, and neither is this. But there is a way to where that you can get the best value. Become a real Tony Franklin System client, a full-time client, not just an OC Magic client. The OC Magic is unbelievable, incredible. But our clients that are with us year-round, year after year after year, this is just part of their product. They get this just for being a Tony Franklin client. So save thousands of dollars and don't buy everything that we have in piecemeal. Yes, go to TonyFranklinFootball.com/OC Magic, order it right now. Or go to our website, TonyFranklinFootball.com, and just look at the hundreds and hundreds of benefits that our clients get, the hundreds of hours of training. And you know what, right now, if you guys sign up off this video, we've got defensive product that we haven't put out in years. If you become a full-time client, you're going to get some of the greatest defensive coordinators as well that have spoken for me over the years. Everybody from Bob Shoop at Mississippi State, who might be the hottest defensive coach in the country right now, to Will Muschamp, to other coaches that have spoken to us, Manny Diaz over the years. We've had some of the best defensive football coaches in all of football. We've got special team presentations. We try to give our clients everything, so that when you become a Tony Franklin client, you've got everything you need to be the best coach that you can be, so that one day, somewhere along the way, you use our weekly conference calls, you use our game planning assistance, you use every tool that we have, and then one day I hope I'm looking at you and you're making 10 times the income you're making now, your family's happier, your coaches are all got better jobs, and you're living a good life. Thank you guys. Look forward to seeing you soon.